Today we'll be talking a little bit about our referee mechanics. On this call, you have Michael Vandervelde and Marty Adams. I'm going to let Marty introduce himself here in a minute, and then we'll dive right into the film and give you and all referees a little backdrop on mechanics here.
Good. I'm Marty Adams. I am a Monroe football official, but I am currently a referee in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Completed my first year last year as a referee.
Awesome. Glad to have Marty on the call today. This guy is going to give you and everybody else a little backdrop on the referee position. He is a master, an absolute master.
So, I don't know about all that now.
That's all right. Well, good. And I'm Mike Vandervelde. I'll be officiating and refereeing in the Big 12 Conference this season. Looking forward to it. Been around Ganofa here in the New Orleans area and then Louisiana in general for the last 8 or 9 years, I believe now. So it's been fun and just love talking mechanics. So a little bit about the referee position. We're going to talk about just the crew chief in general and some of those expectations. And Marty, I guess some of the things I want to talk about first before we dive into the film is how important is preparation during the week leading up to the game? What are some things as a crew chief would you suggest to our people today?
You know, first thing I always think that you need to do is if you can get your hands on the game film, go ahead and get your hands on the game film. Also, look at the matchup that you have coming up and make sure that if you can do a little bit of scouting, if there's some film in the library on the opponents that you have coming up, do that. Also, if it's an opponent that's out of your district, so to speak, pick up the phone and call somebody else in another association and they can maybe give you some hints and a little background about what they're doing because, this game, if we know what's coming, we can probably get in the right position through our mechanics to officiate the play correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. The video out there today is just incredible. I mean, we can network across the entire state and pull some video pretty quickly and get that into our officials' hands. And preparation is so key, communication and leading up to the game. We talk a little bit about that in our professionalism portal that we will share later too. But, those are things that we want to make sure we cross lines and understand that, preparation is a mechanic that we want to make sure all of our referees and crew chiefs are thinking about each and every single week. I just think that makes it a whole lot easier for the crew and everybody is on the same page and, ultimately provides a really strong product at the end of the game. So,
and the other thing is if one other thing I want to add, if you're struggling as a crew chief with something or your crew is struggling, don't be afraid to ask for help or to go and look for some examples of how a crew handles this and what are they doing that make it work, and then incorporate that into your pregame, into your game plan.
Well, good. Let's segue into the film here a minute. I'm going to share my screen, but we just want to talk film. I mean, this is a great opportunity to talk mechanics from the referee position and perspective. And then one area we want to spend some time on, or I guess two areas, is offensive holding and roughing the passer. And really want to build that. I guess the objective of the session is to build off of that and understand a little more consistency, like what should be called, what shouldn't be called, according to the entire state, right? We want to make sure that we're making solid, strong calls every single day, that the consistency is there. And so if we can use this session just to build that in, we'll give you some good examples of what should be and what shouldn't be and why. And we'll also talk about, where our eyes and transition should be through those plays, along with just the basic mechanics to start plays off. So let's look into the first film here. Marty, I'm going to cue this up.
Okay.
Let me see desktop number 2. All right. I'm hoping everybody should have that. And can you see it, Marty?
I can.
All right. First and foremost, what are we looking at from the referee position? Just basic mechanics before we even start the film.
I'd always look at my formation right there. We know we got trips, so we know that the right tackle right here, I believe it's number 65. That's going to be our primary key right there.
Very good. Referee standing in a really strong position. I like the width here, a little bit outside. The tackle position, looking in to be able to see both tackles as well. You got the left tackle and the right tackle, just in the peripheral. And then also we're about 14 yards, anywhere between 12 to 15 yards is what we like to say from a comfort standpoint. Not everybody has to be in the same position, but it's important to be, in this little circle of influence more than anything.
And I would say this, just chiming in, where I stand sometimes depends on how mobile is my quarterback. If he's one that's going to scatter back and forth, hey, I might need to cheat one more yard and be 16. Or if it's a power formation, they do a lot of running, I might cheat in a little bit and go 11 yards. So it just depends on knowing your teams a little bit.
Going back to that importance of film, right? Absolutely.
Yes.
Good point. All right, so this play here, we're going to look at offensive holding, and we want to talk about why this is a correct call, where the referee's eyes are going. Here we go. We'll kind of play it through a few times. All right, so let's start back at the beginning. So again, we're looking at the right tackle. Right tackle has the action that we want to watch. Referee's in a great position. Eyes are clearly there. And what do we see is the right tackle kind of gets outside the frame right off the bat.
Correct.
We can tell by that because the player in yellow is now breaching that point. Like he has broken through the line of scrimmage, and our attention should be staying in that area. Now I know the referee's here also. He's kind of looking at both. But with that vision and that wide vision being able to look in, he's going to be able to see that action pretty clearly. Anything to add to that, Marty?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head.
So we see outside the frame, he gets beat to the inside, and then we've got a tug and a twist that clearly allows the quarterback to spring out into the open. So again, this is at the point of attack. We'll talk about what the point of attack is. It allows the quarterback to stay, through the action, clear foul there. And that's something that we would like called. This is huge. You can see it on the sideline view. No question asked. We just, there's no end zone needed here. If we had an end zone shot.
You do, but it's actually too far away to see.
So again, we get, even I guess the near view, zoom view here. Got the tug, the twist, and the grab on number 22, and properly called. Important thing here, I want to make sure referees understand where that foul occurs. Again, we got that tug right around the, I'd say 47, 48 yard line.
Right.
Let's just be mindful of where that foul does occur. The flag ends up at the 45, 2 yard difference. But let's try to get that spot of the foul as accurate as we possibly can. I just want to challenge all referees there.
Good pickup. Good
Deal. All right. Let's move. Here's the end zone. It's not going to give us a whole lot, but you can kind of see the spin and the twist.
Yep.
Referee staying with the quarterback to start with, but, we know he's scrambling here. This is always a question, how long do I stay with the quarterback? Clearly becomes a runner and goes downfield, 10 to 15 yards. I usually tell my line of scrimmage, as soon as the quarterback gets through the line of scrimmage, I'm done. I'm going to start working backside and cleanup action, from a dead ball standpoint, and let the line of scrimmage officials take that as a runner by definition.
Yes. That's the way I handle it also.
Good deal. Awesome. Play number 2. Go ahead, Marty.
All right, we just got just twins up at the top. Our key right here would be this left tackle right here. But once we determine that it is a run, then we've got to go to point of attack. Absolutely,
point of attack. Good point there. Reason why we want to make sure we're aware of both tackles. Umpires got guards and the center to start with. Talking about transitions, right, and being aware of a running play versus a passing play and those types of things is important. The more awareness we have of those potential plays, then we can get to where we need to see and what we need to see. Front side versus backside transition, play side versus backside. I mean, there's some terminology pieces that we want to make sure everybody understands, but play side meaning coming towards me, right? Versus the backside, where the umpire should be on the backside officiating that run play, is very, very important for us, because we want to make sure we see all that action. And as a referee, we get front side 99, 100% of the time is where we want to get to on running plays outside the tackles. If we're inside the tackle, we just work that angle wherever that block occurs and where that hole tries to open up, and we work inside out there. So anything to add there?
No, you're 100% correct on that.
Good deal. All right. Good quarterback here, action right down the middle, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to recognize this right off the bat, Marty. You know, I see that the pulling tackle or the pulling guard here drops back, and
Right.
they're opening it right down that A gap or B gap, however you want to put it. So
Yeah.
we
And that's
see
one
that.
thing that referees always need to be aware of. When you see somebody pulling, it's usually going to take you where the play's going. So always, anytime we see anybody pulling, get an eye on them and see where they're going.
Man, good point there. Absolutely. Agree 100%. The pulling guard is going to take you there most of the time for sure. So we see that pulling guard. That might catch our attention there, right? We might see,
Right.
I can't tell the number here, but that guy's pulling deep and he comes up to the middle linebacker and blocks him, right? We may go to that. Our initial key here is number 57, and he flushes down and gets a little bit outside the frame,
Yep.
right? And then all of a sudden, kind of the guy works through it, the defensive end works through it and makes the tackle. Now, I grade this one as an incorrect call.
And I am also in agreement with that. And one thing you look at is I can't tell a defender's number right there, but whoever the player that 57 is going to engage, he never really breaks his momentum right there. And then plus he makes the play right there for about a 2-yard loss right there in the hole. So I'm like you. I do grade this one incorrect also.
And this is a tough one because, yeah, I mean, we have some elements here of offensive holding. And again, you guys will see our PowerPoints as the resource towards the back end of this presentation. You can click on that. But, you know, we talk about, we want to put it in categories, and we want to see 2 elements here. We want to see, you know, outside the frame, someone beat, and then another element of, you know, a grab and a restrict or a hook and turn or a tackle or a takedown. Those types of things are categories we want to put fouls in. And then the next part of that is it at the point of attack? And those are things that we want to process through. And this is clearly at the point of attack. This guy has the ability to make a tackle, right?
Yes.
This is right there, and this makes it suspect. The right tackle does come out, and his technique is tough. I mean, he kind of gets outside the frame a little bit and double hooks those arms of the defender. But the defender does a good job. He doesn't lose a whole lot of steps there. I mean, he kind of bends them back a little bit, but I think that's the initial push.
This is good. And plus he has that right guard's trying to chip him a little bit as he's going to that linebacker too, right there. But the kid makes a heck of a play in the hole right there, though.
Definitely. And I think, you know, there are elements of a potential hold. Definitely understand what the referee sees, you know, sees the bend back and those types of things. So understand the call. I think if we hold on to the flag a little bit, process through it, and see that the defender makes the tackle, we put that flag in our pocket and away we move, right?
Right.
I think those are things that we want to make sure we, you know, clearly just take our time. You know, we say this a lot, just take our time, process through it. It's a foul. Oh, we got a tackle. All right, let's save it for a later day. Let's get a bigger one later. And I think the other thing, we talk consistency. If this is the first quarter, you know, this is play 23 in that game.
Right.
You know, is that the consistency we want to call in the fourth quarter? You know, is that the tone we set? Because there's going to be a lot of, you know, I could go back and look at a lot of different plays in this game and see, yeah, I mean, that was called in play 23. It probably should have been called in play 26, you know,
That's right.
That type of thing too. So just kind of important there, I think, as we consider. But this is more philosophy. And I know we continue to walk that line in the LHSOA is, you know, what is the philosophy of offensive hold? It's at the point of attack. Yes. Great. The kid makes the tackle. Let's not call that foul.
Right. And then you mentioned something about consistency. And listen, guys, you know, coaches all the way from NFL to college down to high school to Pee Wee football always ask us to be consistent. And that's something that we have to strive for. And that's what we've got to set the tone within our crew, within our officiating associations. And you mentioned it earlier too, statewide is what Lee's trying to do. So the coaches are going to adjust to what we call, but we just got to make sure that we're consistent every time.
Very good. Play 3. Another offensive hold. Correct, no call. Referee.
Yes.
This one, I think referee standing about 12 yards.
Yes, he's in pretty good position right there. Maybe just a tick wider, but you know, not going to fault him on that at all right there.
Very good. Again, recognizing plays here. The comments you will see are up here in the left-hand corner. Correct no call. CNC is what that stands for. I think this should not be called, and this is correctly not called in this game. But comments, front side, but into tackle of runner. So these are just little notes that might highlight some thoughts as people go back to look through this session. So again, recognizing the play. I mean, this team looks like they have a tight formation, right? Primary running first, maybe those types of things that would allude to where we'd like to officiate this play. All right, so let's play this. All right. So again, tough play here. Formation-wise, we can dive into a few other elements depending on how many officials you are working with in your game, correct?
Correct.
If we're working 5-man mechanics, we've got a different, the back judge is back here officiating the play for 5-man mechanics, but the referee's still going to be aware of both of these inside tackles, the right and the left tackle. And then you've got these tight ends out here. So line of scrimmage, we've got this official is going to be alert for this tight end in the backs, right?
And also our deep official back there, even though he's 20 yards away, primarily he's going to be keying on that tight end also.
Very good. I agree. And that's, we just want to make sure we look coverage. Obviously in this game, we work 7-person mechanics here, which is great. So we've got different mechanics that have a lot more coverage on it. Line of scrimmage, would be alerted this back. The side judge here is going to be keying in on this tight end. All right. Back judge will be keying in on this tight end. And then the other deep wing is going to be keying in on this wide receiver to the outside. This line of scrimmage official will be keying in on the backs as well. So they're, we've got this covered pretty well. So, referee, you're going to be looking at this left tackle. As soon as the play happens, we got to see front side, back side. So the initial charge is going to tell us we're going to the left, strong side here. All right. Or not strong side, I guess.
We're going ball side, point of attack side.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of action here. And, referee's going to see that. And you get kind of the tight end on the outside of the frame right off the bat,
Right.
Now, Marty, talk about this a minute because, we're keying in on this tackle, but because they're so tight, are you going to get your eyes to that tight end as well?
I'm, primarily what I'm going to do is I'll start inside. I even will start with that guard a little bit and look inside and then work my way out as that play develops.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah. When they're that tight like that, and we know, the history of West Monroe running program, I'll look in there and key in on that guard too, because sometimes they'll tell me what's going on too. And then also, just in case there is a double team right there, I'm aware of that's going on right there also. So it's just kind of, get your eyes kind of trained right there. I know my line of scrimmage guy is going to help me on the tight end, but I will look inside right there a little bit.
So you talked a little bit about double team. What's the significance of double team, just so that everybody kind of understands that?
Well, if there's the significance to me of a double team, that's meaning they're going to give somebody else up to make a tackle. So if somebody scrapes off there, I mean, it's got to be if he splits it, or you could have I guess what's the word a term I'm looking for. But to me, double teaming meaning, it's going to have to be pretty bad before I call hold on something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We typically are told, at the college level, as soon as you see a double team, you're going to go with the very next.
Right.
Yeah. Unless it's just malicious or the defensive players grabbing and we have a defensive hold potential there. But, I'm leaving that up to the umpire because the umpire here's got that guard.
Right.
He's going to, work that angle right there. So I'm quickly off that double team, and I'm going to try to get outside to that hook and possible restriction on the outside. So
great point.
Again, I'm good. I mean, this is really tight, guys. I mean, that guy does prevent him from making the tackle, kind of, right? I mean, it's right there. And the timing element, I'm slowing it down, but he does make the tackle there and he's down, at the 20-yard line. So I said correct no call. I'm glad the referee took time here not to call it. Again, I think this goes to consistency. And can we get these calls correct all the time? I think the defender gets off of it pretty well and makes the tackle. Now, if he springs free and scores a touchdown here, that's going to be a different call there, right?
Yes, right. That's exactly right.
So, I mean, you know, we're not shying away from gray calls here, right? I mean, this is very gray. There's a lot of elements, but, you know, can this help us become more consistent? And I think it does if we take these plays, each play individually, and we're patient and we process the play and kind of see how it develops, right? Grab and restrict, takes feet away, guy kind of works through it, trips him up for a 2-yard gain. You know, I'd lay off of this because of consistency standpoint. That's just me.
Yep. Good point. Good point. All right. We've got on this one right here is we've got a trips to the top of the screen. So that left tackle, I believe it's number 65, will be our key right here. 65 or 66.
Good deal. Agree. Same thing, right? We're aware here. This guy's going to be our focus point. Near side tackle may be our, second
right
guy to pay attention to. Reason why I want to, point this out too before we rock and roll is 78. I mean, here's your blitzing guy right here. I mean, all these guys are standing up, but this one's outside that tackle. So, I'm betting this guy's probably your best, athlete because they're setting him up outside. He's probably your fastest player. And so I'm alert to this, pre-snap routine. I know this tackle here is our key, but I'm also alert to this action because I want to make sure that I'm covering this play as well. If this is my better player, I'm going to cheat sometimes. I mean, that's just the nature of the game, especially if we have to have two players that we got to be responsible for. So play develops. This one's tough here. Again, you look at it because what happens is exactly what number 42 does.
Yes.
He's your best player. He's quick to the backfield. 78 reaches out with that right hand there.
Right.
There's some attention to that. And you look over to this side at this point, 66 is pretty good. I mean, he's got him double hooked, but his feet are in good position, and no one has breached through this play at all.
Correct.
So the only breach we have or the breakthrough is this guy right here, and we want to make sure that, we as a referee, I'm going here. I'm telling you that right now.
Yep.
So
in agreement. That's our first threat right there.
So he breaks through, and then all of a sudden, as I'm watching, the play, we get a sling down by number 66.
Right.
So, I mean, this is, tough play. It's a foul. No question, this is a foul. Do not fault the referee on this one because it's just flat out tough. Sling down. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's one we want to try to get every single time, no matter what. So, I think we're good. Let me see. We got a wider view here.
Yeah.
Tough play. Just wanted to, categorize this one as a foul for sure.
Yeah. It is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it because of the breach threat right there, and then you see him step up, and then there goes the kid being taken down right there. So it's a tough one, but it's something we got to work to try to get if possible, and that's something that we can talk about from a crew concept. And hey, who can help out on this? Who can possibly see this? And those are things that as you bring plays into your pregame or throughout the week, and you start talking about position mechanics, and maybe somebody else on the crew could possibly help on that one also.
Yep. This is I love this play. We can break this one down for 45 minutes, but referee's in a good position. If I'm refereeing this, obviously my attention is going to be to the tackle on the near side. I'm here right now.
Yep.
As that play develops, if I move, I may not move here. If I move and I move more towards the middle of the field, I might see that and look through that action and pick it up. If I don't move, I've got a lot of action in here that may not bring my attention there. No excuses. We still got to try to get it. Referee's primary, but I might talk with my umpire on this one. Typically, I'd say my line of scrimmage could help. Line of scrimmage here is looking in this area. Not a fan of that because we got some people in the belt.
Yep.
That should be the responsibility. Who knows if someone chucks this guy and someone's going to pick it up. I'm not sure, but this line of scrimmage headline judge is looking in the right spot.
Right.
They're not going to be back here right now. So I might put the onus here on the umpire, because his stunt there with number 55 takes you to that action, and he should or might be able to see that sling down. So I may put a secondary on the umpire for this play. But like you said, Marty, breaking it down is huge.
It's huge. And the other thing that you can do, and this might be a good discussion with your umpire, is me and my umpire, we have an agreement back there. After they get so far in the backfield, they become mine, and then he transitions to something else. So you got to set a line of demarcation back there. If it's 2 yards, 3 yards deep, where those threats become mine, he transitions to what would have been mine. So it's something to think about.
Absolutely. Especially on a pass play, right?
Yes,
run plays are different. Pass plays are, once they get deep, that's where, referees protecting the quarterback. I mean, we know that quarterback, because we're talking a little roughing the passer here in a few minutes, but especially, you may end up going to the deep guard or the deep center that's back there grabbing and restricting or taking down that too. So you see the sling down there from the end zone shot, not a bad angle. Definitely a foul. We want this called consistently every single time around the field. So not enough restriction on this play.
Yeah, it's not, but we talked about it earlier. We're going to watch as the play develops. We're going to look at the left tackle and the left guard both pull, so they're going to take you to the ball right here. But I agree. I just don't think that there is enough of, I guess it's number 94 up there top of the screen to justify calling a hold on that one.
I agree. And you look at it, I mean, initially this is going to be the umpire's key. Umpire's going to stay there with it. But that's, again, we talked line of demarcation, get in the backfield, and the referee's got nothing else to look at. So that's one that I'd like the referee to transition to at some point.
Yes.
At some point. And that's going to take you right there. And we've got a hook. There's a hook here. But we just don't have that restriction. Right? We just don't have enough. And, 95, he slows down. If he runs through that thing, he's fine.
He's fine. That's right.
He quits. So don't get suckered into that. Take your time. Watch the feet if you can. We've got a hook, but he rips underneath. We're going to lay off of that. Ripping meaning getting underneath the arm of the offensive player. So,
and sometimes that rip, it makes it look bad, but you got to remember that the reason why that the offensive player's hands are so high is because that rip caused it right there.
Absolutely. Good deal. Again, just the wide angle. We'll play this through real quick to move on to the next play. But, again, not enough. Not enough. Look at the back there, the split back to the right of the quarterback. Slight rock forward. Not enough, right?
That's right.
As a referee. But we're not calling that for a false start or anything like that. So, just to, as you think about it, rocking forward, but let's make that running back take a step first before we call any illegal motion or false start. All right, this one's another fun play.
It is, and we're going to be looking at, if I believe it's correct, it's number 90 shooting this gap right here. Is that the one we're looking at right here?
Yep.
Okay.
And this one differs from the last play just a little bit because, he beats him to the inside pretty well.
He does.
So you've got the suspect. You've got umpire looking at that, I'm hoping. Referee's going to be in the area. But right now, he's just beat.
He's beat.
So I don't see anything up until, like, at this point, we're pretty good, still pretty good. But then all of a sudden, you kind of see number 90 loses his feet.
Right.
So
go
ahead.
And the end zone has a good look at this one. Our end zone view on this one.
Let's go there. Here we go. This is the selling point for everybody, right? This is why we want to. This one is one we would call because it's right at the point of attack. Meaning it's right there where that guy should have made that play or could have made that play. Right. Right
there. And then it's a little bit there's I don't know if we can slow it down enough, but there's enough restriction right there to where we can justify getting that one.
And right here at this point, you've got the right arm outside the shoulder.
Right.
Technique is suspect.
Right. But he's also not 90's also ripped through. But as you see him trying to get off and he starts raising up, that's when right there to me is what justifies us calling that.
So Marty, here, I mean, this is, you know, we've been in this call for a few minutes now, and you know, we're talking offensive holding, and you know, we've shown some big takedowns, we've shown some big easy ones, but Marty, this one's not big.
It's not big, and those are, I knew what you're kind of leading to, but you've got to look at, sometimes your hole's not that big, but you got to realize that the guy's going to be able to make a play. It doesn't have to be a big takedown or a big, or you know, anything like that. If it's enough restriction to keep him from making a play, because I believe right here, 90's going to make a play for about a 5-yard loss right here, and that's a big play right there. Absolutely.
Shoulder dip, takes feet away, right at the point of attack. Those are calls we want to get. You know, and challenge referees here, because those are the ones, you know, supervisors, you know, replay or regional coordinators of officials, they see those and they're like, that guy's got it right there. That's like, to me, that's dome quality, right?
That's a quality foul right here. Good job. Good job.
Right. All right. Here's one.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just good, bad, and sometimes the ugly, right? We want to make sure we process through it. So I'll let you talk through this one a minute.
All right. You know, primarily right tackle, we got trips up to the top of the screen is going to be ours. We're going to see down here at the bottom, this defender down here at the bottom of the screen breaks through. But we've been talking about it, and we've been talking about, is that defender able to keep momentum? And you're going to see on this play right here that this defender, his momentum never stops. There's not a hold, and you know, that's just one of those things. We've got to see the whole thing all the way through.
Process. Take your time.
Yep.
Process. And I'm good with the referee going to this side right away, because that's going to be your first threat anyway.
Right.
Near side, you got nothing. But you know, just take your time. Enough. Nah.
No. And the end zone angle has a pretty good look at this also. It's going to be over here, top of our screen right here, 53. He's beat, but it's not a restriction right there. He just gets beat, and 54 just keeps going, and so not enough in my book.
Yep. He just rides him out, right? I mean, he just keeps. That's where he's taken. That's where the defender wants to go. You know, there's not a whole lot of takedown action there, or any taking steps away. So, you know, that play right there, we don't want called. There's not enough restriction. It's just not, you know, not a quality call. Process it, take your time. And then also you'll notice too on that film, we threw the flag, you know, right at that hold.
Right.
Let's try to do our best by throwing that flag just to that open spot, or, you know, somewhere in that area where the foul occurs. You know, where the spot is great, but let's try to get it to the yard line and not hit players.
That's right.
I've seen that a few times here in the last couple of films. So just, you know, process it. And that's when you take your time, you can react. Yep. Foul. Okay. Boom. Now throw. Less likely to hit somebody because that action is already clear out of there. So
right.
Take your time and process.
Formation right here, and we have a sling down right there at the point of attack, that left tackle right there. I think we start out with a doubles and double formation right there, doubles, and you know, that left tackle would be ours in that situation. The reason why I'm saying that's going to be your primary is because your head linesman a lot of times in doubles formation like that will have to get involved in the passing game, and will probably be shuffling down to the belt a little bit. So that's ours all the way.
Yep. Sling down, take down. You can definitely put, anytime someone goes to the ground like that, it's got to be a foul. And it's a bubble screen.
Yeah, bubble screen. And the other thing, those takedowns, if we can, because if we don't get those early and often, they're going to lead to some other things that's going to go on with a little bit of frustration throughout the game. So let's make sure we do a good job of trying to get every single one of those that occurs.
Great point. So the end zone view, outside the frame, takedown, right at the point of attack. Get those. All right, just a few other plays. We, you know, again, talking about the same things just to give everybody consistency, you know.
Yeah, once again, you've got trips, so we're primarily going to be to the top of the screen, but we have a pulling lineman, which is going to be that tight end. So once again, we see somebody flash on pull, it's usually going to take us to the point of attack right here.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that right here, that to me, there's not enough right there. I think he keeps his feet. There's no restriction right there. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree. To me, again, seeing all the action, the defender's running clean, right? So we do get to that point, but I think the tight end here blocks what's presented to him.
Yes, there you go. Great point right there. Great point.
And so, what presents here, he goes the inside. Defender's taking himself out of the play. We got a little counter action.
Right.
And, he kind of gets inside that shoulder, but that runner is gone.
Right.
And the defender didn't do anything to kind of prevent from getting there. So,
yes,
better off laying off of this. We don't want that called because, again, it goes to consistency. And if I'm looking at this film, I know this team right here is going to run that play again and again and again.
Yep.
And, again, I think just he blocks what's presented. So it kind of looks like a hook and turn, but again, process that play and see it. Just not enough. And I think this might give you another good perspective of it.
Right there. And he just eventually rides him where he wants to go.
Good turn. Yep. Everybody else is in good position. I mean, this is what it looks like on a good, solid running play. Guard and center wash down, 63 wash down, 78 wash down, all in amazing position and technique. 8-3 gets there. He might be a tad slow, but again, that's where it's set up. That's where the runner wants to go, and he counters back. So it's just a well-designed play overall.
Yeah, and another thing that you said here is you're blocking what's presented. One of the things to think about is sometimes out there when we're out there outside and we've got those D-backs and wide receivers, sometimes that wide receiver or the defensive back will turn on that wide receiver. He blocks what's presented and we don't call a hold. So that's basically the same thing right here at this point of attack right here. So good point.
All right, 71 tackles. He's the guy here on the end. We got to call these just because he tackles him.
He tackles him. He does.
Gets beat to the inside. Number 4 is there right at the point of attack. And he takes him to the ground.
Does a good job. And the other thing I would just say, anytime we see a blocker going to the ground like that, we've got to stay with him because a lot of times he could possibly pull an ankle too there to complete that hole right there. So they did a good job on this one right here.
She's got a low block potentially. I mean, there's kind of that second action too. But he just wraps around. If we had an end zone shot, you would see the leg tackle potential there. So anyway, just good plays there. And I think that's I got a couple more holds here. A couple big ones here. Spin, takedown, grab, keeps the play alive. Good call.
Yeah. The only thing I would say on this one right here is the referee is a little tight right here. So we have a left-handed quarterback, but he sees the hole. But just remember, the quarterback is probably one of your best athletes on the field. He's the $1 million baby. We've always got to protect that $1 million baby. I've heard Gerald Austin say this a couple of times. He said, "I'd rather you miss a hold than not know how the quarterback got knocked to the ground." So that's just something to think about. But does a good job recognizing. My only thing is saying is get your eyes back to that $1 million baby running back there with the ball.
Good deal. Having awareness coming at you for sure.
Yeah.
Good. This one's interesting. I can support this one all day. Probably okay with not calling this one. You got a big takedown though, guys.
Yeah. So. Well, and the thing about it is we've actually got two things to look at. There's two threats. You've got that blitzing linebacker coming off, but you've got the tackle right here also, number 78. So I could support this one too.
I like it. This one would be, coach might send this play in.
Yep.
And as a RCO, I would be, I would say I understand why the official didn't call it. I can support that, and I understand why we did call, if we did call that.
That's right.
This one's an interesting one just because is that at the point of attack?
Yep.
Let's argue. We could sit and debate about this one. I wanted to put a gray one in there. where everybody could sit and debate and like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, consistency wise, you know, we've been telling you, call the big ones.
Yeah. Go back to the play previous to this one, and I want to see the play number. I didn't catch it. Okay. So, all right. Well, just making sure, because on this play, the referee is on the left-hand side, and we got a left-handed quarterback. But on the next play, he's on the right-hand side. So maybe they might have switched and not aware of it just yet. So just wanted to point that out.
Yep. Left-handed quarterback versus right-handed quarterback.
Yep.
We're still alternating on both sides, but still 12 to 15 yards back.
Yep.
Good. All right. Roughing the passer. A couple things before we dive into roughing the passer. Obviously, it's a passing play. We want to protect the quarterback. You know, mechanically, we're still watching that action. We got to keep our eyes until that quarterback is clear. So forcible contact to the head, neck area, whether it's an open palm or, you know, something coming down to swipe at the ball. If you make contact to the head of the quarterback, we want roughing the passer 100% of the time. So that's one area that you want to categorize it in. And then the other piece is just the timing element.
Right.
If you have, you know, a timing step and then a tackle, conventional tackle, no foul. We want to let that ride. But if we have a situation where it's delayed and it's late and it's good solid contact, that's going to be a foul.
Right.
And if we have any second act sling down type piece, we want that as a foul. That's not conventional to the game of football, you know, after a pass is thrown. So we want to make sure we be conscious of that. You know, as we kind of work through these plays. So, but stay with the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I know you want to fight with some of those, you know, swing out passes and things like that to get out to the front side, but make sure you clear that quarterback before and trust that your line of scrimmage officials will take care of that.
Right. And you're going to see on this first play, I thought the timing was good. It was a good no call. But if we look at the referee right here, his eyes go with the pass. And we need to take a look at this quarterback right here and make sure that we're good right there. He's still out there. Quarterback's on the ground. We anytime a quarterback's on the ground, we need to know how they got there, because if he gets hurt, that's our baby right there. That's your job back here on the passing play.
Yep. Our eyes are going to go quick to that action.
Yep.
You know, and we get a good push down here, but you know, again, timing of the release of the pass, ball's gone, and he's within that.
He's within a yard right there. He does push him, but nothing. I don't think anything malicious. There's nothing high on it, so we're good on that one.
Yep. One thing just to point, you know, dead ball officiating. We'd be remiss not to be on this session where we're not talking about dead ball officiating and just being alert. You know, again, we've got, you know, numbers. Who is it? My guy right here, 43 at the very end doing that action. Right? You know, he's clapping his hands. He's in the face of that player, number 71. You know, he's going to make a comment.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. Good celebration. But let's talk to this guy. Hey, man, that's enough. That's enough.
Yep.
You know, we don't need that early in the game. I think that's play 21. You know, we're probably in the playoffs too here. So I get emotions are high, but just talk to him. There's no foul here. But just, hey, 43, cut it out, dude.
Yep. There you go. Good point.
Rough for the passer here, potential.
Yeah.
Right. We got a quarterback. Go ahead.
On this one right here, and the end zone is going to show it perfect. There's the first two defenders. We got three coming at him. Those two are within 1 yard right there. There's nothing malicious. Think it's good. Now, if we'd had the second guy, and I can't see what number it is, the end zone's going to show it. If he'd have made 78, I believe, if he'd have made contact right there, well, then we possibly could have got a roughing the passer, but he misses everything. And the end zone has a great look at this one right here. Number 3 and number 6 are doing a good job. Like I say, within 1 yard when he releases it, and it's the third person, and he misses everything right there. So we need to stay away from this one.
Yep, absolutely. Quarterback falling away.
Yep.
You know, timing, ball's just gone. Timing is great.
Yep.
If 78 gets them, then we get 78. But
yes, right. But 3 and 6 are legal. Nothing malicious. Hey, they're just trying to make a play right there.
I agree. Good point. All right, and this is similar too, right? So we looked at play 81, same game here. Now we're at 127. Well, we called that first one.
Right.
Very similar.
Yep. And number, I think is that 6 right there again, or 3 right there. He's within 1 yard. Good no call right there. And then we have the second defender does miss him right there. So almost exact same 2 plays, falling away again, but that's a good no call.
Yeah. I mean, that's just playing football, and again, like we said, we're protecting the quarterback, but there's some elements here of just, hey, this is conventional, ball's just released and he's just carrying his momentum through the play. So
Right.
Another one we want to lay off of. So there we go.
This is an interesting play. You can see right there, and the defender might think he's a runner, and then all of a sudden he pulls up, and then we have a hit on the quarterback. What do you think about this one right here?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm going to go incorrect on this one.
That was my thought too.
I think we want to make sure that, again, it's, he's still carrying it away. He gives up too. I mean, he kind of leaves off on right at the end. Now, if he carries him through and tackles him to the ground and puts, an additional effort to him and slings him, then that's not football. But this one, he's outside. He's kind of doing a screen, maybe, who knows. And
at that point, though, the defender really doesn't know if he's going to run or if he's going to pass right there. So that's one thing to consider also. Yep.
Now, Marty, I know if our contact point is to the head,
then we got to get it. Yes, I agree with that. We definitely want to get it.
This one's just forearm to the shoulder, and
and within the step right there. I didn't think he was saying anything that was malicious right there, so I would have stayed off of it also.
Yep, agree. Good deal. Again, another example of a conventional tackle.
Yep. And the only thing be looking for right there is, now if we did have a high hit, then that's a whole different story. You can't right here. I don't know if the referee's looking at this or if he's kind of looking at the pass right here, but just make sure we got that quarterback going to the ground. We have got to stay with him. Make sure nobody says anything. There's nothing that goes on at that pile right there.
And I'm always going to work into this.
Yes. So therefore, everybody knows that you're looking at it, you're aware of it, and you're also seeing. I can't tell that number, but the other guy that's staying, he might come up and say something. So we need to be working to clear that, because of course everybody wants to take a shot at the quarterback.
Absolutely. Good. Let's see. It's like, did I put any fouls in here that were actually roughing the passer? I mean, I'm looking at this list.
I think we got this one right here, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Finally, right? The second act.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, we got the second act on this. I think we did. But, roughing the passer, like I said, it's tough. It's tough. And just remember, most of your roughing the passer for your referees are going to come from up the middle. And so we got to be aware. We got to make sure that we don't get too wide out there. But, hey, we got to protect the $1 million baby.
I like it. Great point. I mean, this one just, he knows the ball's gone. He sees it because he puts his hands up, and then and it's kind of high contact here.
Yep.
I don't have an end zone shot, but, there may be some contact to the head and neck area that we want automatically. I mean, his hands are kind of around him right there at that freezing point. But, I'm okay. It's close. But then that part right there is what I want to make sure we get.
Right. And the reason why I'm telling these guys about coming up the middle and not being too wide is because first part of the season last year, I missed a couple of these because I was too wide, and I had to bring myself back in once you figure out that most of those are coming from right up the middle.
Absolutely.
All right. And that's it. We're back to play number 1.
That's back to 1. So, a lot of great film here, a lot of opportunity for everybody to kind of look at those. I mean, I'd encourage everyone to get a chance, get on your Huddle account, start pulling some plays that may have potential holds or roughing the passer, and, share those across your associations and talk about what rises to those levels. I mean, we're at a point now where we're getting closer to the season, and, the goal is to be consistent. If you get consistent in your association, all your coaches will be happy and a lot of schools will be encouraged. And then as we continue to develop, the statewide, mentality, how awesome would that be to have, our Monroe officials doing the same thing as our Lafayette guys and
right.
officials down there, and even in Hammond and everywhere else. So, I mean, the consistency is key, and offensive hold and roughing the passer is tough to do, but let's work to do that this season.
And you talked about making the coaches happy, but if we got consistent across the state, we'd make our boss happy. Lee Sanders would be smiling all the way to the bank right there. So, but no, great film, guys. Look at this film, and Michael said it. We want to try to be consistent. So, hope you guys learned something from this today.
Absolutely. Hey, don't hesitate to reach out. Right, if you have any opportunity to chat with us, we are here. If you have any questions regarding mechanics, Marty and I love to chat it up, and we can, go via email or, get on, opportunities to call and talk and that type of thing. But, again, basic fundamentals, 12 yards to 15 yards deep and wide, and transition from play to play and adjust. So pretty basic. I know we didn't talk about scrimmage kicks or punt plays or anything like that, but we'll leave that up to the association trainers, and we'll kind of go from there from here on out. So best of luck to everybody.